How you doing, guys?
So lovely to see you again.
Yeah, I was going to say I did the Q&A, didn't I, for Kids in Love?
You did. Yeah,
Yeah.
many moons ago. It's lovely to see you.
Yeah, you too. I love this movie, by the way. I'm not just saying that. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I was saying to the other guys earlier, I don't think I'm ever going to eat a taco again, but I did enjoy it. No, it was honestly fantastic. I'm so thrilled to have been able to see it on the big screen as well. I'm going to start actually with you, Preston. I was just wondering when this idea sort of originated from. Was it one that's been with you for some time, or was it very much after Kids in Love?
It was after Kids in Love, and I'd written a couple other things that I were going nowhere, and I didn't know what I was going to write next. And me and Dad went on a road trip down the west coast of Ireland, and I was just completely taken away by the kind of just the beauty of it. And the idea came to me to do a kind of what would like a contemporary Western look like, it would kind of in those lush green hills in the rain. And I've always wanted to do a film with gangsters, and I find Irish gangsters much more appealing than British gangsters. I don't know why, but it's just I've always loved an Irish gangster, and I'm such a fan of so many Irish actors, and we're very lucky to get a few of them to be in this movie with Colm and Dylan and Ned and and Pat Short. It was just so it was a pretty amazing experience in the end.
Yeah. And Barnaby, when did you sort of decide that you were going to direct this? Because obviously, I mean, if you look at your career, you've got some incredible producing credits and you've been involved in so many fantastic projects. But what was it about this particular one that made you think, I want to be in the director's chair for this?
Well, I started off life as a director, directing documentaries. And some of the earliest documentaries I made were in the west coast of Ireland. And then, life is never planned. I end up producing movies in Hollywood, which is a great detour. But I kept on meaning to get back to directing. I got a chance to co-direct the two St. Trinian's films with my old buddy Ollie Parker. But I'd been, you don't really feel grown up till you've done it on your own. So I was looking for something. I wanted something that's, most of the stuff I've done has been funny. So I wanted something that was funny, but also had a bit of style and had a bit of something else going to it. And when Preston gave me the script of this, he was really in my role as, father giving him advice on a script he's written. But it just had all the ingredients of something that felt to me like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. I know this landscape. I know this funny. And it really got my juices going. So I then had to persuade him to let me do it, which is obviously demeaning.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, there's always. I mean, I've spoken to many. I've been on sets before and spoken to writers and directors and producers, and sometimes you do get the sense that the writers sometimes want things a certain way and the directors want some things a certain way. But I guess you two have got this kind of shorthand where you can just collaborate and discuss all ideas in a way that some writers and directors may struggle to be able to get ideas across. Was that quite helpful for you, Preston, in this instance, to be working with dads? And I guess you can say whatever you want to your dad. Well, to a degree.
We push that degree occasionally. We have a great time doing it. I mean, it's just different to any other project I've ever had with other producers. When they give you notes, they kind of blow smoke up your ass for 15 minutes before telling you there's a huge structural flaw in it. But they're doing it in the nicest possible way where you're like, so sorry, the middle doesn't work. Whereas with Dad, you write a scene or whatever, when you're drafting it, and he goes, this is lazy. And I go, and he says an idea, I go, that's an old man idea. So it's very nice to cut through the kind of noise and be honest with each other. And I think there's so much love and respect between us, and, our roles were clearly defined, and we talked a lot about letting those roles be defined, that it was just such a wonderful, lovely experience. And I, hope we get to do it again.
Yeah, because Barnaby, I mean, you were I don't mean to make you to blush, Preston, but you must be so proud of your son writing these screenplays, because I mean, obviously you're still so young, Preston. I mean, when I was younger, I could barely write my name, but it's incredible kind of feat, and to have your own offspring kind of presenting you with scripts, it must be such a great thing.
No, it's listen, of course I'm very proud of him. I think we're all a little surprised because he could barely write his name during his school career. So when he turned out to be this rather brilliant writer, we were both grateful and relieved. No, it's listen, it's a gift to work with, and we had a really, I think Kids in Love, it was good to do Kids in Love first as a kind of warm up, and so that we knew that we were, we knew how to talk to each other, as it were, in a professional setting. And to do something like this, I mean, first of all, to be able to work so closely with a writer is so great, and that for that writer to turn out to be your son is just an extra special joy.
And of course, it is a very sort of tight script, and there's a real kind of musicality to lots of the dialogue and stuff. But I was speaking to the guys earlier, and they mentioned that Dylan was given a bit of license to be quite to improvise on set and to be his typical self. What was it like to work with him in this instance, Barnaby? Because I mean, he's one of the most naturally funny people I think I've ever known.
Yeah, no, and what happens in films is the train is riding along, and then Dylan Moran shows up, day 3 of week 5. And so, we've all been in, you get into a groove with whoever's there. And then suddenly you've got this guy who's clearly, one of the funniest men in Ireland. And it was, I think, the first time I saw Preston really nervous, because I think he was shitting himself that Dylan Moran would just say, sorry, this just isn't very funny. But he was very kind and he was very respectful. But all comedians have their own rhythm. So in order to, there were some jokes that just didn't sound quite right with Dylan's voice, and he, obviously he was very quick to come up with new lines. There was one line that he never quite got right that we really was one of our favorites. But anyway, these are small prices to pay.
Yeah, and Preston, how was it? I mean, it must be so much fun writing the character of Pixie, because she's a great central protagonist in this story. And how thrilled you were that Olivia came on board, because she's got something so special about her as an actress.
Completely. I mean, she blew so much life into that role. It was on the page, I think, enough for her to say yes. I've admired her work basically since she started. I saw her first film, The Quiet Ones, years ago. And so to be working with someone like that, saying your lines is amazing. And it just felt fresh. It just felt fresh to me to have this girl at the center of a story that would normally be populated by, the two boys would be the lead. And I just thought about inversing that and make it really be her story, made it feel like something that was fresh and original. I think as a writer, that's always what you're looking for, is kind of, especially within a genre or whatever, to try and push something to feel new. And then Olivia is just so, to watch her do different version after different version after different version, all excellent. It's a nightmare for Barnaby and the editor to pick which one is the best take, because she brings such a life to that part. And I'm, so thrilled to have her, and Ben and Daryl too, obviously.
So my final question, which is for both of you really, and I should preface this by saying that I love the kind of risks the film takes and some of the big scenes in the church and Alec Baldwin with a shotgun and stuff. But I'm just wondering, it's 2020, so it shouldn't be shocking. But seeing a shootout in a church and seeing a priest literally use a nun to avoid being shot himself and stuff, it still felt quite out there. I just wondered if you had any apprehensions about delving into that territory at all, or was it just sort of like, what, fuck it?
I think that the Catholic Church has done enough in the past to justify certain, questioning of certain its place in society. But we did it with love. We did it with a sense of humor. It was Alec's idea to put the nun in front of him, and and he's a good Catholic boy, so we went with that. But the truth of that story, it came out of us reading an article in the New York Times about a Catholic priest who had worked with the IRA. And so, although it obviously gets more outlandish, it started from a place of truth.
No, I thought those scenes were the best things in it, so I'm not complaining. Well, thank you so much for your time today, guys. Really appreciate it. Best of luck with the movie, and it was nice to see you again, Preston, as well.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!